Meanwhile, this was the scene in the early morning hours in Chicago as Anthony Rizzo, the Cubs first baseman there, bore a World Series trophy that I'm sure there are so very many in that city thought might never actually make an appearance. Bleary-eyed, but none the worse for wear were these Cubs as they returned to a faithful who'd waited so very long for this moment. And scenes like this are going to play out ad infinitum. This was the scene, in fact, outside Wrigley Field on the north side of Chicago. So many got what they had wanted, although it did not come easy. 10 innings last night. Some free baseball was played, but now the Cubs are free of all manner of curse and collective loss. And Dean Reynolds is there for it all as those fans celebrate a long-awaited victory. Dean, I know there are those in the city who would believe that the White Sox showed them how to do it some 11 years ago, and it just took about one more decade to get it right. But that mood in Chicago right now, what is it?
Well, it's ecstatic. I mean, the Cubs hold a special place in this city. They're almost a secular religion, if you will. The mood swings of millions are affected by whether the Cubs won or lost a game. And so the fan base is there, but there's this other outer circle of fans who have gotten onto the bandwagon of the Cubs and are just exulting with the long-suffering fans who've been with this club for decades and decades and waited and waited and waited, and now they can finally look at that sign on the Wrigley Field facade, which not so long ago would have been considered like a prank.
That's so true. Dean, it's interesting. So many comparisons have been made to the Red Sox when they finally ended their drought, and yet the Boston faithful did not cling to this idea of being lovable losers. They really wanted to win, and they finally did. And so as this fan base, perhaps, however collectively, looks to reimagine what it's going to be, I mean, what do you see for Cubs fans proper on the other side of this?
Well, going forward, if that's what you mean, this is a very young team, and they are under 26 years old, most of them. So the expectation of the fan base here, and I think a lot of the city of Chicago, is that this is a dynasty. This team is just going to get better and better. You saw these kids, 22, 23 years old. My God, the kid who was pitching in the 7th game of the World Series, Carl Edwards, is a rookie.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen very often in the 10th inning of the 7th game of the World Series.
It was an incredible thing to see. Even, I mean, it's something to be said. With no horse in the race, with no skin in the game, to get the game that we all got last night is really the ineffable quality of sport that is unto itself. And as fate can be so fickle, Dean, I'm sure there is some Cubs fan already saying it's been 8 hours since we last won a World Series. When will it ever end? Dean Reynolds in Chicago. Tremendous work during this series. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you, Josh.